Hello, this is Elections in the Political Process, Section C, Participating in the Political Process and the Role of the Media. Our prioritized standard is Government Civics 28, and objectively, we're going to investigate means of participating in the political process. Citizens have many options when it comes to how they will participate in the political process, with voting serving as the most common means. Yet other ways involve varying amounts of skill, time, and resources. Some people are actively involved in campaigning for a candidate. They might create materials, organize events, seek donations, and attempt to convince people to vote for their candidate. Should point out, only about 15% of the American population actually participates in this way with campaigns. New forms of media actually make it easier, though, to be involved in campaigns. You can easily do things from the comfort of your own home, blogging, posting videos, going to social networking sites, donating money online with PayPal. So it's easier now than it's ever been, though. As a part of the political process, sometimes citizens demonstrate their disapproval for the current government policies in a number of ways, including lobbying, picketing, and sometimes petitioning. Lobbying is an attempt by an individual or group to influence the passage of legislation by exerting direct pressure on members of the legislature. So lobbyists commonly give legislators information about public policy issues in the form of letters, phone calls, information sheets, whatever it might be. Picketing is a form of protest where people meet outside of a location, attempting to discourage people from going inside, mostly to draw attention to the area and what horrible things they might be doing. A petition is a written document signed by a large number of people demanding some form of action from a government. So why you need a petition, that's going to go into something we're going to talk about in a moment. Some people even file a legal challenge. This was a common thing during the Civil Rights Movement. NAACP filed several legal challenges to segregation laws, and then the courts is basically what ends segregation, not the states by themselves, so that's a very active way to go about it. The most active means of actually participating in the political process, however, is actually running for political office. Instead of representative democracy, where people vote for their representatives in the government, on occasion our government uses direct democracy, which is where voters directly make policy decisions. Now, direct democracy is used with things like an initiative, a referendum, and also a recall. An initiative is actually a process enabling citizens to bypass their state legislatures by placing a proposed law directly on the ballot. So if you have an initiative, it means you don't have to be in Congress to get something passed. You can do it yourself. Wording can be an issue. It has to meet certain statutory requirements. You have to have an accompanying petition with a certain number of signatures from registered voters to be able to be put on a ballot, but this is a process. A referendum. This is a process allowing citizens to either approve or reject a law passed by a legislature. So oftentimes, these are going to be required on certain types of ballot measures. If you ever try to amend a state constitution, you almost always have to have a referendum vote. Often, if there's a passage of an unpopular law, sometimes there'll be petitions to overturn that law, and then the referendum vote will be the final verdict on those things. And then a recall is a procedure allowing citizens to remove and replace a public official before the end of a term of office. So this actually differs from impeachment in the sense that this is a citizen-based process, and you don't actually have to have a valid reason for removing them from office. You just might decide, I'd rather not have them anymore. Now, this also requires a petition with a certain number of signatures to actually go through with a recall process. So if you ever wondered, how did Arnold Schwarzenegger become president or a governor exactly? Well, it was a recall election, and he had the most name recognition, so hey, he won. Oftentimes, the media plays an important and major role in the American political process, especially in elections. The mass media is a means of communication that reaches large, widely dispersed audiences simultaneously, which include television, newspapers, magazines, radio, and also the internet. People acquire most of the information they know about government and politics from the media. While television is the primary source of gaining political information, the internet has grown in importance. As you see, internet actually has surpassed newspapers, which used to be a large way for many years. The media, by exercising its constitutional right to freedom of the press, is important to the success of the nation by continually scrutinizing the government and providing the public with accurate and impartial information that it can act on accordingly. The media's influence on politics is the most visible in electoral politics and helping shape the public agenda, which means societal problems that political leaders and citizens agree need government attention. While those actively involved in politics may not be influenced by the media, since elections are often decided by the politically uncommitted voters, the power of the media in elections can actually be quite substantial. Government officials attempt to use the media to the best of their ability to better communicate with the general public. Politicians capable of using the media to their benefit prove to be more successful than those that do not. So say what you will about Orange Fury. He used the media to the best of his ability. Through the media's ability to focus the public's attention on particular issues while ignoring or downplaying others, they help determine what government actually focuses on. The media can provide checks against the government by focusing attention on instances when it abuses its power. Some critics actually accuse the media of emphasizing scandals and high-interest stories that help gain advertisers at the expense of more important issues. The media guides debate by reporting on how the public feels about major issues through public opinion polls, which are devices that attempt to collect information by asking people questions. Now, public opinion poll is different than just a survey in the sense that they actually have to use scientific polling techniques, which involve extremely complex processes that make them more reliable than other methods. At times, special interest groups might actually produce these polls. Campaigns might produce these polls sometimes. But many times the news media actually conducts these polls internally. Major news outlets commonly print, televise, report, and increasingly stream coverage of political debates and speeches of candidates both during primary and caucus season and also during the general election. The media has made candidates far less dependent on party organizations, allowing candidates to appeal directly to voters. It has made it easier for candidates with only loose connections to parties to successfully run for office. Shout out to Orange Fury again. Modern campaigns commonly emphasize television exposure, orchestrating sound bites for the evening news. While candidates spend enormous amounts of money on campaign advertisements, the media allows voters the ability to find more unbiased information about candidates. Now, I should point out, if you're looking for unbiased, depending on where you look for it, you might not find it. If you're looking for your unbiased information from Fox News, which is, in a sense, a Republican mouthpiece, cable news network, you're not going to find it there. If you're looking on MSNBC for your unbiased news, you're not going to find it there also, because that's the Democratic Party mouthpiece network that's saying things that only Democrats want to hear. Media reporting allows voters to learn about major policy differences between candidates. The tools of the mass media also make it easier to research candidates in local, state, and national elections. All right, this concludes elections and the political process. Section C, participating in the political process and the role of the media. We hit prioritize standard government civics 28, and objectively now you can investigate means of participating in the political process.